Hi everyone, my name is Jason and today I'm joined with a guest.
Hey, my name is Raj. I've been working and helping out Somo for about 4 years now as an advisor and mentoring some of the entrepreneurs. I'm very passionate about social entrepreneurship and always very happy to help when I can.
Tell us a bit about where you work.
Yeah, sure. So I work for a company called Lendable. Lendable is a emerging market focused investor. So we invest in fintech startups across emerging markets. So that's everywhere across Africa, Latin America, and also Southeast Asia. So we're a global firm, and yeah, our we pride ourselves in our ability to use data to really understand business models and to make good investment decisions.
Thank you very much. And okay, so what topic are you going to be talking about today and why are you passionate about this topic specifically?
Yeah, sure. So the topic I'm going to be speaking about is record keeping and data management and why that's really important. And I'm quite passionate about this area because in the past I've worked as a data scientist and also as an investor who, cares a lot about, when investors meet companies, a big part of, trying to determine whether, we can make an investment is, understanding very, at a very deep level, different aspects of the company. And, this is a topic that it's quite close to my heart because we've met many companies over my investing career, and some of them are really good at record keeping, and some of them are really bad at record keeping. And it's very hard for the ones that are bad at this to, grow the business and to get investment. So this is something I just want to really instill in some of those entrepreneurs at a very early stage, and I want to explain why it's important and how to do it well and what the benefits of doing it well.
How does good record keeping help entrepreneurs generate insights?
Yeah, sure. So I think really when I was thinking about how to give this talk, I was reflecting on, why record keeping generally is really important. And to my mind, there are really two reasons why it's important. And those reasons are one, insight, and two, trust. So to answer your question on the first point, how does good record keeping relate to insight? Well, maintaining a practice or instilling processes where you're collecting and storing and analyzing different types of data about your business. This could be things about your product, could be sales, could be customers, could be operational data like productivity or measuring the output of your production facilities or many different things. We're using the term record keeping very broadly here. But fundamentally, what it allows you and also other stakeholders in your business to do is to really understand your business at a deep level. And it's really the precursor, it's really the first thing you need to do, maintaining good records in order to be able to identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities in your business, in your market, whatever it may be. So insight is the first really important point. There are many different types of data that you can collect, but ultimately, the more data you collect, the more insight you can generate, and the more transparency you can bring to the different stakeholders in your business, like your team, your managers, your investors, your advisors. When I meet a company, whether we're investing or whether I'm mentoring or doing advisory work for the company, the first thing I always try and do is to understand, okay, what's going on in your business right now? What's happening? Explain to me what's going on, because it's really the first step. And I ask for that data or that information. It's really the first step to making any kind of meaningful progress. So insight is really important, and collecting more data allows you to generate more insight.
Thank you. And in regards to trust, how does record keeping relate with trust?
So this is the other really important pillar. And this is a perspective that is really important to me as an investor, and something I think is a unique thing that I can, or a unique point that I can perhaps make to some of those entrepreneurs, because so much of investing and so much of business is really about trust. Ultimately, this whole world that we operate in comes down to people. And from the perspective of outside stakeholders, if an entrepreneur or a business doesn't have good records and isn't consistent and disciplined in maintaining good records, then as an investor and as an advisor, the first question that pops into my head is, can I trust this person, this entrepreneur? Can I trust this company? Whereas the counterfactual to that is, imagine a business that has really, really high quality records. They've kept really good quality financial data and operational data and sales data from day one. That sends a really, really strong signal to investors, to your team, to other managers, to perhaps other businesses that you might partner with. It sends a really strong signal that this entrepreneur knows what they're doing, they know what's important, and they're disciplined, they're organized, and ultimately that the entrepreneur is someone that you would want to work with. So I think good quality record keeping is really, really essential. And it's almost a precursor to building good trust. I've met many entrepreneurs and many businesses in my career, and like I said before, there's good ones that do this really well, and ones that do this really poorly. And I would say almost across the board, the relationship hasn't gone very far with the ones who do this poorly, and that's just because it's so important to the business. It's so central to managing the business, to improving the business, maintaining good records, that it's really hard to really succeed in business if you're not doing this very well.
Thank you very much, Raj. It's like one point that stood out for me is the fact that it's human beings who interpret these records. So if you want to build trust and get insight, it's important to have consistent records and disciplined records. Now, as we end, I wanted to find out, what does good record keeping look like?
Yeah, sure. That's a really good question. And again, as I was preparing for this talk, I was sort of trying to abstract a little bit and think broadly about what does it mean to keep good records. And I think there are really sort of 4 high-level steps to this process. And I think depending on the industry, the business, the sector, the entrepreneur, depending on the stage of the business too, there's different records and different types of data that you're going to want to prioritize storing. For example, if you're a really early stage company, it's probably not really that beneficial to spend a lot of time and energy storing data on operational metrics, like how much people are producing per hour, or maybe that's something you should think about a bit later in the business, because for an early stage business you need to first build the product and find a market. And so I think that the type of data or the way you apply this framework is different based on the stage of the company and the age of the company and the resources of the company too. It's obviously it takes time and money to do this really well, but the key point of this talk is it's worth spending the time and money, and it's worth thinking deeply about what data points are important for your business. But to go back to the 4 points, so I think really the steps are: 1, collect; 2, organize; 3, analyze; and 4, act. And I'll go through each of those in turn. So the first one, collect. And I think this is really the question that entrepreneurs need to be asking themselves all the time is, what data is really important to my business? What insights do I need to generate? What are the pain points? What are the opportunities, the areas where I can grow? And from that, what data can I start collecting? What processes can I create to make sure this data is collected in an automated way, in order to generate the insights that I need to generate and the trust and the track record that I need to generate? So that's collect. The second point is organize. So you can't do anything with data if it's not organized neatly and in a structured format. So, this could be as simple as setting up the right folder structure, or setting up, a Google Sheet or a spreadsheet in the right way with the right columns, so you are tracking the right metrics. And once you organize it, it then becomes easier to move on to the third step, which is to analyze. And this is the really crucial step in the process, and it's a skill that I myself have been building for many years, and I think it takes many years to get really good at this. But the key question at step 3 is, ultimately, what does the data tell you? So you've gone out and collected the data, you've organized it in a structured way. Next question is analyzing it, interrogating the data, trying to figure out what the story is, what the pattern is. And on this one, I would say, if this step is hard or intimidating, I would really encourage you to reach out to Somo or to other mentors to sort of figure out what you can do with this. And this is a common thing with entrepreneurs that I advise, is they come to me and they say, hey, we have this problem and I don't know what to do. And the first question I ask is, okay, give me the data. Let's look at the data. What's actually happening on the ground? And so once you've gone through step 1 and step 2, it becomes easier to analyze it. And that's where you can rely on your network or, other people, whether it's SOMA or advisors, to help you interrogate the data. But it's really important. You can't do anything until you have the data and it's organized. And then the fourth part, which is the hardest part, I think, is to use that data and to reach some conclusions using that data, and then to make a decision on what to do, whether that's changing the strategy or changing the price of your product or going after a slightly different market, whatever that may be. But once you have the data and you've analyzed it, then you have to figure out what to do with it, and that's the hardest part. But that's again a really crucial part of the process too. And I think really doing each of those steps really well, collecting high quality data, organizing it very well, analyzing it really well, ultimately leads to better decisions. And it's better decisions that lead to better outcomes in business over the long run. It's really if you can make high quality decisions over a long period of time, that's really the best thing you can do to maximize your odds of success as an entrepreneur, is what I believe.
Thank you very much, Raj. And the most important, one of the things that I picked up from it is you can't have data without keeping good records. So that's where it starts from. So you have to keep good records, and then from those records is when you'll be able to have data. Then you can analyze it, and then you'll be able to make high-level decisions that are very profitable for your business.
Exactly right. Well said.
So thank you for your time. This has been really interesting. Hopefully we shall catch up on a different topic. And yeah, bye.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for having me, Jason, and keep up the great work at SOMA.
Thank you.